My name is Akshita. I'm the Center Head of Excel Civils Academy. I teach polity as well as public administration here. Today we are going to conduct a workshop on how to prepare for optional subjects and how to choose optional subjects for UPSC Civil Services examination. Now, before we begin the session, I request all of you to please mute your mics and please reserve your questions towards the end of the session. I will open the session for questions in the last half an hour or 45 minutes of this session. You can ask me all your questions and you can raise doubts towards the end of the session. Till then, I request all of you to please mute your mics. Okay. Let us begin our session today. Today's session is how to choose optional subject for UPSC Civil Services examination. Okay. Now, in UPSC Civil Services examination, you have three parts or three stages. First is prelims, mains, and you have personality test. Now, within mains examination, you have to choose one optional subject. You have to choose one optional subject, which again has two papers. Paper 1 and paper 2. Now, paper 1 carries 250 marks and paper 2 carries 250 marks. So in total, 500 marks are allotted to optional subjects in UPSC mains examination. Okay. Now, this is just to give a brief idea of optional subjects. Now, this session is very, very important for you because it is the optional subject which will decide whether you are going to clear your mains examination or not. And it will also decide whether you will eventually find your name in the final list of recommended candidates. Okay. Optional subject is very important. 500 marks are allotted to optional subjects, whereas other general studies papers have only 250 marks. Each general studies paper carries 250 marks, whereas 500 marks are allotted to optional subject. Okay, so optional subjects are considered very, very important for UPSC mains examination, and it will decide whether you are going to clear mains examination or not. Okay, now we'll discuss what is the importance of optional subject as we progress in this session. Today, we are going to discuss along the following lines. This is the scope of today's workshop. First, I will give you a brief idea of optional subjects which are available. Optional subjects which are available for aspirants, which you can take in UPSC mains examination. I will also discuss the importance of optional subjects. Then we will discuss what are the factors which an aspirant needs to take into consideration when they are choosing an optional subject. Okay, there are certain factors that you must take into consideration, and there are certain factors which you should not take into consideration when you are choosing your optional subject. Okay. Then we will also discuss the question which most aspirants ask: when to start my optional preparation. We will also discuss briefly about this point. Then we will discuss how to prepare for optional subjects. This is a brief outline of today's workshop. What are the optional subjects which are available to you in UPSC mains examination? What is the importance of these optional subjects? What are the factors which you need to take into consideration while choosing an optional subject? When should you start your optional preparation? And how should you go about preparing for your optional subject? Okay, so this will be the scope of today's workshop. Now let us start with the first question. What are the optional subjects which are available for you to take? Okay. Now, before starting the session or before going into details, I'm presuming that all of you are fresh aspirants or new aspirants who have not yet decided on which optional subject to choose. So I'm hoping that this session will help you in narrowing down optional subjects for you to take in UPSC mains examination. Okay. Generally, optional subjects are divided along or categorized along the following lines. You have your basic science optionals. Now, within this basic science optionals, you have physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology. Then you have subjects like psychology. Now, all these are basic science optionals which are available to you. You can choose one of these optionals for your UPSC mains examination. Okay. Then you have literature related optionals. English literature, Telugu literature, Kannada literature, Maithili. These are all the subjects which are available under this category of literature. Okay. Then you have social science optionals. Now, social science optionals are very popular among UPSC aspirants. Almost 90 to 95% of students who attempt or who appear for mains examination have one of these social science optionals as their optional subject. Okay. Now, within these social science optionals, you have your political science and international relations, PSIR. Then you have public administration. You have your sociology, anthropology, geography, history. Now, all these are social science optionals which you can choose. Okay. And then you have your professional degrees, your engineering, medical sciences, law. These are the optionals which are available under this category. Engineering, medical sciences, agriculture, law, commerce. Now, these are different optionals which are given by UPSC, given by UPSC, and you can choose any one of these optionals. Okay, you have your basic science optionals, you have your literature optionals, social science optionals, and then you have your professional degrees. Now, there are huge number of subjects that you can choose from. Generally, the aspirant gets very confused as to which optional they should take for mains examination, whether they should choose social science optionals or basic science optionals, whether they should choose their graduation subject or they should go with some other subject for mains examination. Now, these are all the doubts which you may have. Now, in today's session, I will discuss some important factors which you need to consider, and these factors will help you in narrowing down your choice to 2 or 3 optionals. Okay. Now, before I discuss about all these factors, first let us try to understand the importance of optional subject and the effort which is required to score good number of marks in your optional subject. Okay, what is the importance? Now, choosing an optional subject is a very important step in your optional preparation or in your UPSC examination preparation. Okay, because optional subjects carry almost 500 marks. And optional subjects are also considered very scoring. Now, why do I say this? Okay, you have 4 general studies papers in your mains examination. You have your essay paper and you have 2 optional papers based on which your merit list will be decided in the mains examination. Now, most of the aspirants who clear mains examination or who score top 100 ranks or 200 ranks, all of them have average number of marks in their general studies papers. General studies paper 1, 2, 3 and 4. If you look at the marks which toppers get every year, or the candidates get who are whose names are seen in the final list, most of them get average number of marks in all these 4 general studies papers. That will be somewhere around 100 marks. You will not find much of a difference between these marks among different candidates who are finally recommended. Okay, but you will see a large variation in optional marks. You see toppers scoring 330 marks out of 500, and you also see candidates who are scoring just 200 marks, 220 marks in their optional subjects. Okay, so optionals, you have a large variation in the number of marks which candidate gets. And if you are someone who can get around 300 marks or 280 marks in your optional subject, then you have a very high chance of clearing your mains examination as well as getting a good rank in the final list. Okay, so optional subjects are very important because they are highly scoring. No matter how hard you prepare for your general studies papers, that is your paper 1, 2, 3 and 4, you will only get average marks, that is 100 to 120. But in your optional subjects, if you prepare well, if you comprehensively cover the syllabus, if you do proper answer writing practice, you have a chance of getting 150 to 160 marks in each of the optional papers, and you have a chance of getting around 320, 330 marks in your optional subject. Okay, now that will decide whether you get a good rank, whether you clear the mains examination, and whether you get a good rank finally when the merit list is given by or recommended by UPSC. Okay, which is why optionals are considered very, very, very important. Now, there are certain factors which you need to consider before you choose an optional subject. Generally, in UPSC mains examination, your essay, ethics, and your optionals are considered as holy trinity. Okay, because it is in these 3 papers you can score very high marks, and it is these 3 papers which will decide the marks difference between the candidates who are recommended and the candidates who cannot clear the mains examination. Okay, so this is holy trinity of UPSC mains examination, and if you can ace these 3 papers, then you have good chance of getting in top 100 ranks. Okay, now this is why choosing an optional subject is an important step in your UPSC preparation cycle. Okay, and you have to be very careful when you are choosing your optional subjects. You should not choose your optional because it is very popular, or you should not choose your optional because some topper chose that particular optional and he scored the first rank or second rank in UPSC examination. Now, these are not the factors which you must consider. I will tell you in detail what are the factors which you must consider before you choose an optional subject. Okay. Now, the goal that you must have is to score 300 and plus. That is either 300, 305, 310. This should be your goal. This is the number that you must target in your optional subjects. Now, this will not happen very easily. Getting 300 marks in your optional subject is not at all easy, and it requires a lot of effort, 1 year of consistent preparation, proper answer writing practice. All this is required to score this 300 plus marks in your optional subject. And please keep it in mind that this is not at all easy. This is not an easy task. Okay, so this is the reason why you must carefully exercise your choice of optional subject in your mains examination. Okay, now what are the factors that you must consider? First is your graduation subject. Now, most of you who are attending today's session might be graduates, might have finished your graduation, or you are still pursuing your graduation. If you are still pursuing your graduation and if you want to take your graduation subject as your optional subject in UPSC, I would advise you to carefully prepare while you are in graduation itself. Please pay close attention, please attend all your classes, and please take examinations very seriously if you want to take your graduation subject as your optional subject. Okay, now this is not something which most of us do. When we are in graduation, we just study 1 week before the examination and we go and give the examination and we try to get minimum number of marks to pass the exam. Okay, not many of us focus a lot while we are pursuing our graduation. I request all of you to please mute your mics and reserve your questions towards the end of the session. Please mute your mics. Okay, thank you. Okay, so in our graduation, we tend to neglect our studies. We only study 1 week or 1 month before the examination. And we try to get bare minimum to pass the exam. Okay, now this is something which all of us do, most of us, 90-95% of us, we neglect our graduation studies. Okay, now in order to choose your optional subject, and if you want to choose your graduation subject as your optional subject, you should be someone who must have prepared very well while pursuing your graduation itself. If you are someone who is very confident with your graduation subject, if you are someone who has prepared very seriously while you are still pursuing your graduation, then you can choose your graduation subject as your optional subject in UPSC mains examination. But if you are someone who has not prepared very seriously and done bare minimum in your graduation, and if you have to start afresh for your UPSC preparation, then it is not very wise to take your graduation subject as your optional subject, right? In our Telugu states, in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, most of the students take engineering or they pursue bachelor's in engineering, right? Or they choose medical science. In their graduation. Now, if you have not studied well while you are pursuing your engineering or while you are pursuing your bachelor's in medical sciences, if you have not studied well and if you have to start afresh for your UPSC preparation, and if you are choosing engineering as your optional, then your life will become very difficult for you, because your general studies subjects are nowhere related to your optional subject. You have to give time for your optional subjects as well as your general studies subjects, and there will be no overlap between the two of these subjects. And you will not have enough time to cover your entire UPSC syllabus in the limited time frame that you have, that is 1 year. Okay, so the advice that I can give here is, if you want to choose your graduation subject as your optional, please prepare very seriously while you are still pursuing your graduation. Especially those of you who have taken basic sciences or these professional degrees such as engineering and medical sciences in your graduation, please prepare very seriously while you are pursuing your graduation. Otherwise, it may not be very wise for you to start your preparation afresh and take engineering or medical science or physics as your optional. Okay, so the first factor that you must consider is how confident are you with your graduation subject? How seriously have you prepared for your graduation subject while pursuing graduation? Okay, so this is the first factor that you must consider. Now, this factor is very important, especially for basic science students as well as students who are taking up some professional courses like engineering and medical sciences. Okay, now the second factor that you must consider is the interest and aptitude that you have in a particular subject, right? Now, what do I mean by interest and aptitude? I will give you an example. Now, some students may find it very difficult to memorize a lot of factual information. Now, some students may find it very difficult to reproduce a diagram. As soon as they look at a diagram, they might find it very difficult to reproduce it in paper. right? So each one of us, we have different aptitude towards different subjects. Some of us may very easily understand various concepts like family, religion. All these are sociological concepts which many of us may find it very easy to understand. Some of us may have aptitude towards geography and concepts in geography. We might very easily understand and grasp those concepts. Some of us have the skill or the talent of memorizing a lot of factual information. Some of us may have aptitude in basic science subjects like physics, chemistry, and mathematics. Some of us may be very good at mathematics, very good at physics, or very good at chemistry. Okay, so please try to self-analyze where your aptitude lies. Are you someone who is good at quantitative methods? Are you someone who is good at memorizing a lot of factual information? Or are you someone who can understand social science concepts very easily, grasp these social science concepts, and you're able to apply it to present day society? Okay, so please try to analyze where your aptitude lies and where your interest lies. Now, this is a very, very important factor when you're choosing optional subjects, because you have to spend 1 year of your preparation and you have to consistently prepare for your optionals. Now, if you choose an optional subject in which you are not interested, if opening that book itself is a torture for you, if it is a very painful thing to read a particular optional subject, please do not go with that optional, no matter how popular that is, right? Because optional subjects, you have to prepare for a very long period, and you have to consistently prepare, and you have to simultaneously prepare along with your general studies subjects, which is why having interest in your optional subject is very, very important, and having aptitude in that particular subject is also important. Okay, so this is the factor that is very individualized. I cannot foresee, or I cannot tell you in which subject you are interested in or in which subject you have aptitude in. Now, this is something which you have to analyze and decide for yourself. What is the subject in which you are interested in is a very individualized thing, and it is entirely based on self-analysis of your own skills and talent. Okay, so this is the second factor that you must consider. Now, the third factor that you must consider is the vastness of syllabus. There are some optionals whose syllabus is very vast, and there are some optionals where the syllabus is very limited. Okay, for example, if you take law as your optional, the syllabus is very vast, right? But if you take anthropology as your optional, the syllabus is quite limited, right? So the vastness of syllabus is also a very important factor, because you have very limited amount of time to prepare for UPSC examination. You have 1 year within which you have to prepare for your general studies subjects as well as your optional subjects. You have to prepare for prelims examination as well as mains examination. And all this has to happen within a period of 1 year if you want to clear the examination in your very first attempt, right? So this vastness of syllabus is again a very important factor to consider, because you have a very limited amount of time to prepare for your UPSC examination, right? Now, the fourth factor that you need to consider is the overlap that a particular optional has with your general studies syllabus, right? Now, this is where social science optionals score very highly. The reason why many aspirants tend to choose social science subjects is because of the overlap that these subjects have with your general studies syllabus, right? I will give you an example. If you take public administration, now this is the subject which has most overlap with your general studies syllabus. Out of all the social science subjects that you have, it is this public administration which has most overlap with your general studies syllabus, right? If you prepare for your public administration optional well, you do not have to again prepare for your general studies paper 2, except the international relations part of GS paper 2. The rest of the syllabus in your general studies paper 2 would automatically get covered in your public administration. 90% of your ethics syllabus, that is GS paper 4, would also get covered in your public administration optional. And at least one essay every year is seen for from public administration, right? So 3 papers, you are able to cover simultaneously 3 papers when you are preparing for your public administration optional, right? 500 marks for your optional subject, 200 marks in your general studies paper 2, almost 200 marks in your general studies paper 4, and 125 marks in your essay would get simultaneously covered in your public administration optional, right? So this is the reason why public administration is very famous or a popular choice among aspirants. I will give you another example of political science. Again, very famous optional among UPSC aspirants, political science and international relations. Now, this is also a subject which has a lot of overlap with your general studies syllabus. Your general studies paper 2, most of it, around 80 to 90% of your general studies paper 2 syllabus would get covered in your political science and international relations optional. You can write beautiful essays. Because PSIR requires good writing skills, you will be able to write very beautiful essays. Some of the topics which are generally asked in the essay paper are also covered in your political science optional. Okay. Now, these are the advantages of social science optionals, that they have a lot of overlap with your general studies syllabus. This is not the case with basic science optionals as well as these professional degrees like engineering and medical sciences, which is why I have given an advice that unless you are very confident with your graduation subject, especially if you are someone who has done basic science in your graduation or these professional degrees in your graduation, please take your graduation subject very seriously if you want to take it as your optional, because it does not have any overlap with your general studies syllabus. And if you have to start afresh your entire preparation, you will not have time to cover your general studies syllabus. Okay. This is the 4th factor that you must consider. What is the overlap that it has with general studies syllabus? This is the reason why 90% of the aspirants who give mains examination choose one of these social science subjects as their optional, right? Geography, your entire GS paper on geography would get covered in geography optional. History, again, another social science optional which has a lot of overlap with GS paper 1, right? So these are some social science optionals which has a lot of overlap with your general studies syllabus. Okay. Then the 5th factor that you must consider is coaching, guidance. Subject, you require some sort of guidance or mentorship or coaching to understand and get yourself familiarized with the concepts in that particular optional, right? Each optional has its own terminology, it has its own concepts, it has its own methodology, right? It has its own way of studying. Okay. Now, if you are choosing an entirely different optional than your graduation subject, then you need some sort of help or support when you are beginning your preparation, right? Now, having this guidance, you may call it coaching, you may call it a mentorship, or you may call it guidance. Having this guidance is very, very important for your optional subject, because optional subjects do not just require superficial understanding like your general studies subjects, right? In your general studies paper 1, 2, 3, and 4, it is enough for you to have a very generic understanding of all the topics in the syllabus, but this is not the case with optional subjects. You require in-depth understanding of all the concepts in your optional subject, and this may become difficult for you if you are choosing a subject which is different than your graduation subject, which is why having guidance is very important for your optional subjects. Okay. Now, whether this guidance is available to you in the area that you are staying in, whether you have some faculty that you can guide you, whether you have some coaching institutes that can guide you, whether your college faculty can guide you. Now, these are all the factors that you have to analyze, right? And you also have to look at the presence of material in the market, right? These social science subjects, for example, sociology, political science, all these are given as undergraduate subjects in many of the colleges like Delhi University. They offer bachelor's and honors in sociology, political science, and even in your basic science optionals like physics and chemistry. So there is a lot of material available for these optional subjects, right? So you have to see whether good material is available for you or not, right? Now, I will give you an example. You have an optional subject called philosophy. You can choose philosophy as your optional subject in UPSC mains examination. But in Hyderabad, you will not find a lot of material and guidance for philosophy optional, right? Whereas you have a lot of mentorship, guidance and material available for public administration, political science, anthropology, sociology. Now, these are optionals where a lot of guidance is available in Hyderabad, right? And a lot of material is also available, it is available freely in the market. You can go to any of these websites like IGNOU, Delhi University material is available, right? So there is a lot of material available for certain optionals, but for philosophy and some other optionals, you do not find a lot of material and guidance in Hyderabad. Now, philosophy is a very interesting subject. But if you take philosophy as your optional, you have to consider where you will get your guidance from and where you will find your material, right? Because this is difficult to find in Hyderabad. So this is also another factor that you must consider, right? So what are the factors? First is graduation subject. How confident are you with your graduation subject? Have you prepared very seriously while pursuing your graduation or not? Right? This is the first factor that you need to consider, especially important for students who are pursuing professional degrees and basic sciences, right? Second is the interest and the aptitude that you have in your optionals. Every student will have different skill, different talent. They have aptitude in some subjects, but they may not have similar level of aptitude in other subjects. You have to analyze for yourself what is the subject that you are most interested in and what is the subject that you have aptitude in, right? This is the most important factor in my opinion, because you have to spend a lot of time with your optional subject. Having interest in that subject is very, very important, right? Otherwise, you will find it very painful to spend 8 hours or 10 hours a day reading one particular subject if you do not have interest and aptitude in it, right? The third factor is the vastness of syllabus. Some optionals have very vast syllabus. Some optionals have limited syllabus like anthropology. This is another factor that you must consider. This is important in the light of limited time that you have to prepare for UPSC examination, that is 1 year, right? Then the fourth factor is the overlap that your optional subject has with general studies syllabus. If you choose any of these basic science optionals or your professional degrees, you will not find a lot of overlap with general studies. You have to separately prepare for your optionals, and it will not help you in writing good answers in your general studies syllabus. This is not the case with social science optionals like public administration, political science, anthropology, sociology. They have a lot of overlap, right? And it will help you in your general studies papers also. Now, the fifth factor is the guidance which is available in the area that you are staying in, right? Do you have some faculty who can guide you, your college faculty, or do you have some coaching institute which can guide you? What is the material available in the market? Do you have test series available for that subject, right? For example, anthropology is very famous in Hyderabad. Many students tend to take anthropology as their optional, but you will find it very difficult to find a good test series for anthropology, right? But for political science, for public administration, it is very easy to find test series, right? Because answer writing practice is very important for your optionals. To score 300 plus marks in your optionals, you have to write test series, you have to attempt mock tests, and only when you are doing that, you will be able to finish the paper in time on the day of the examination, right? So whether you have test series available for that optional subject, is also a very important factor to consider, right? So these are the 5 factors that an aspirant must keep in mind when he or she is choosing their optional, right? Now, let us try to analyze some of these social science optionals. Now, as I keep mentioning, almost 90% of students who appear for mains examination take one of these social science optionals. I want to clear one thing before I start discussing these optional subjects. This workshop is not an advertisement for any particular optional. We are not insisting on taking any particular optional. We are just trying to create some sort of awareness among aspirants as to what is the way or the process that they should follow when they are trying to choose their optional subjects. Okay. Now it entirely depends on you. If you analyze all these optionals along the factors which I have mentioned, you will be able to narrow down your choices to 2 or 3 optional subjects. Okay. So this is not an advertisement for any particular optional subject, right? Now, among the social science optionals, you have your political science and international relations, PSIR. You have public administration. You have sociology, anthropology, history, geography. Now, some of you may disagree with categorizing geography as a social science optional, but let us go with it for now, right? Now, these are some optionals which are very famous among aspirants. Many of them tend to take one of these optionals. Those students who appear for mains examination, 90% of them would have one of these subjects as their optional. Now, every optional has its own pros and cons. Every optional has its own pros and cons, and generally there is a trade-off among the factors that I have just mentioned, right? For example, if you pick up anthropology as your optional, it consists of physical anthropology, that is your biological anthropology, and then you have your socio-cultural anthropology. Now, these are the topics that you have to cover if you pick up anthropology as your optional subject, right? So what are the advantages of anthropology? It has very limited syllabus, right? It has very limited syllabus. You can finish your entire anthropology syllabus in 4 months or 5 months. Right, so this is an advantage with which anthropology has, and there is a lot of guidance which is available for anthropology, especially in Hyderabad. Right, but what is the trade-off? The trade-off is that you will not find a lot of test series available for anthropology. Right, you will not find mentors to correct your papers. You will not find a lot of coaching institutes which are offering test series for anthropology. Right, so this is a trade-off. And you will not also have a lot of overlap in your general studies syllabus if you pick up anthropology as your optional subject, right? There is very limited overlap with your general studies syllabus. Similarly, if you take public administration as your optional, now compared to anthropology, relatively public administration has a bit more syllabus that you have to cover compared to anthropology. But the advantage of taking public administration is that there is a huge overlap with your general studies syllabus. There is huge overlap with your general studies syllabus. And even if your graduation subject is not public administration, you will be very easily you'll be able to understand the concepts in public administration if you have some good guidance. Okay, so there is a lot of guidance which is available for public administration along with test series and material, right? IGNOU keeps publishing a lot of material for public administration subject, right? So there is a trade-off again. Even though syllabus is a bit more than your anthropology, it has a lot of guidance and also overlap with your general studies syllabus. So if you pick up any of these social science optionals, they have their own pros and cons, and there will be trade-offs among the factors which I have just mentioned, right? So what is the factor that eventually you will have to consider when you are picking these optionals? The factor is whether you have interest and aptitude in that particular subject or not, because every optional has its own pros and cons. If you have limited syllabus, you might not have good material available or good test series available in the market. If you have a bit more syllabus, there is overlap with general studies and there is good guidance available. So there will be trade-off, and eventually it boils down to whether you are interested in that particular optional subject or not. Okay, now this is the analysis of social science subjects. If you take PSIR, again the syllabus is very limited. Syllabus is very limited. You will have to study Western political thought. You have to study about thinkers such as Marx, Weber. You have to study about Mill, Bentham, right? Western political thought. Then you will also have to study about Indian political thought. Then you also have to study about theories in international relations and also Indian foreign policy. These are all the topics that you have to cover in political science and international relations. Whereas in public administration, you have various administrative thinkers that you have to cover, right? This is the major part of your paper one. Then you have to study about Indian administration. You have to read various ARC reports. Now, these are all the topics that you have to cover in public administration, right? Then in sociology, what you basically study about is about social order and social change. What is family, religion? These are all very commonplace things which you think that you know, but sociology challenges you in re-evaluating these commonplace things that you keep hearing about, right? Sociology, again, a very interesting optional. You have a limited syllabus, you have guidance also available, but when you compare it with public administration, there is not a lot of overlap compared to public administration optional, right? So sociology, again, an optional which many aspirants tend to choose. Then you have anthropology, in which you study physical anthropology, where you have to study about various concepts in biology like genetics, right? Now, if you do not have aptitude in biology, and if you take anthropology as your optional because it is very popular in Hyderabad, you will have to, or you will find difficulty in finishing up your syllabus, and you will have difficulty in focusing on your optional subject for a very long period, right? So please try to evaluate whether you have that aptitude in concepts in biology or not. Okay, now anthropology, socio-cultural anthropology and physical anthropology, you will have to study about tribes, you will have to study about genetics and all these concepts in biology. So anthropology has limited syllabus. It has guidance also available, but test series is again a bit difficult to find for anthropology. But you will be able to finish anthropology syllabus within a very limited period. Okay, so it has its own positives and negatives. If you take history, there is a lot of factual information that you have to remember. You have to study world history. You have to study Indian history, right? You have to remember various dates and years. You have to remember a lot of names and their contribution to various movements, right? So if you are someone who does not have aptitude in memorizing, or if you do not have skill in memorizing a lot of factual information, but if you pick up history as your optional, again, your life will become very difficult, right? So you evaluate what are your skills, and based on those skills, you pick up any one of these optionals, right? Then you have your geography, again, very scientific subject, very technical subject. You have to remember a lot of information also. You should be able to reproduce diagrams in your paper. So if you do not have aptitude in doing all this, please do not pick up geography. But if you are interested in geography, if you are someone who can very easily understand all these scientific and technical concepts, then yes, go ahead and take geography as your optional, right? Again, it has guidance available. It has a lot of material also. So these are the social science subjects which the aspirants generally tend to take. So this is a brief overview. I did not go into details of each subject, what is the syllabus, that will be a separate session, right? You need a separate session for each one of these optionals. This is just to give a brief overview of these optionals, which 90% of the aspirants who take up mains examination have. Okay, now this is the evaluation. Each social science subject has its own pros and cons. What you have to do is you analyze in which of these subjects you are interested in or you have aptitude in. Now, how will you do this? What you can do is you open UPSC notification and go through the syllabus of each one of these optionals. Go through syllabus of PSIR, public administration, sociology, anthropology, and narrow down your choices to 2 or 3 by considering the factors that I have just mentioned, right? Is it your graduation subject? Do you have interest in that subject, right? What is the vastness of syllabus? Do you have guidance in your area, right? Consider these factors and narrow down your choices to 2 or 3 and go through the syllabus of those optionals and try to get yourself familiarized with the concepts in that optional, right? Each optional has different concepts. For example, if you pick up public administration, try to know about these administrative theories. What are these administrative theories? Do not yet go into details, but try to understand why are these theories so important, right? What is an organization? How is Indian administration framed, right? Who all are part of this Indian administration? Again, why is it so important for a society to have administration, some sort of administrative mechanism? Try to get yourself familiarized with the concepts in that particular optional subject, right? If you take political science, try to look at the thinkers which you have to study in political science. What is this Western political thought? What is this Indian political thought? What is this concept of free will? What is this concept of society, right? Now, these are the topics that you have to study in political science. So go through the syllabus and try to identify some important words or terms in your syllabus and try to Google them, right? And get yourself familiarized with those concepts. Now, if you feel that you are interested in knowing more about those concepts, then you can choose that particular optional, right? So the first thing that you have to do is consider all the factors, narrow down your choices to 2 or 3 optionals, and go through the syllabus of those 2 or 3 optionals and get yourself familiarized with the syllabus of those optionals, right? What many aspirants tend to do is they immediately jump into preparation for optional subject before even understanding what is that subject all about, right? If you pick up a public administration as your optional without knowing the syllabus of public administration, what is this optional subject all about? If in the middle of your preparation, you suddenly realize that this is not something that you are very interested in, right? Then it is difficult for you to leave that optional after putting in a lot of effort, right? And then if you realize that you're not interested, your entire effort of 5 to 6 months will go down the drain, right? So before choosing your optional subject, it is very important to understand what that particular subject is all about, right? If you pick up sociology, try to understand what is sociology all about, right? What is this society? What is this social change? What is this social order, right? What is this subject all about? What are the thinkers that you have to study, right? You will be able to analyze all this if you go through the syllabus of these optional subjects, right? If you are still unable to understand, even after Googling all the important terms, if you are unable to understand these concepts, try to go through YouTube videos. Lot of universities, lot of coaching institutes, they have released videos on all these subjects. Go through those videos, right? Every Sunday, we will also be conducting workshop on each of these optionals. For example, we have already conducted a workshop on public administration. What is that subject? What is the syllabus of public administration? What are the things that you have to study? What are the resources that you have to refer if you want to prepare for public administration, right? So attend these workshops and try to understand what each optional subject is all about, right? Then you will be able to analyze whether you are interested in that particular subject or not, right? Having interest in that subject is very, very important. Try to go through the syllabus, try to understand the syllabus, attend these workshops for each of these optionals, and then you decide which optional subject you are interested in. Okay, you will, if you attend these workshops, you will be able to understand the pros and cons of each of these social science optionals, and you can choose one of these optionals. Okay, but if you are someone who want to take up your graduation subject as your optional, right? For example, you have done masters in physics and you are very good at physics. You have prepared very seriously when you are doing your BSc and MSc itself. Then yes, please go ahead and pick up physics as your optional, right? Basic science optionals also have their own advantages, right? They are very objective optionals where there is not a lot of scope for subjectivity when the evaluator is awarding marks, right? You either write a correct answer or you write a wrong answer, whether you know the answer or not, right? So basic science optionals also have their own advantages. That is the objectivity of those optionals, but generally they are not very famous, or they are not popular choice of UPSC aspirants. The main reason is not because those subjects are very difficult. The main reason is most of us do not take our graduation very seriously, right? We only study 1 week or 1 month before the examination. We do not take our graduation seriously, which is why many aspirants, even after doing masters and bachelors in chemistry, physics, mathematics, they come and choose social science optionals because they did not prepare very well in their graduation, right? Another factor is because these social science optionals have a lot of overlap with their general studies syllabus. Okay, so yes, if you are serious in your graduation, if you are very confident with your graduation subject, you can take up physics, mathematics, chemistry. You can take up your engineering, mechanical engineering, or your medical science optional, right? These are all choices which are available to you, right? This is a basic evaluation of all the optional subjects which are provided by UPSC, right? And you have to evaluate along the factors which I have just mentioned. Now, there are certain factors which you must not consider. If you are someone who stays in Hyderabad, there is a lot of hype around anthropology in Hyderabad, right? If you are someone who stays in Delhi, there is a lot of hype around political science and international relations as an optional. Okay. If you are someone who stays in Bangalore, sociology is an optional which has a lot of popularity, right? So what you must not consider when you are choosing your optional subject is the popularity of that subject in your area. Don't go by popularity. Okay, because a subject is popular, please do not pick up that subject as your optional, because I keep repeating this, you have to spend a lot of time with your optional subject when you are preparing for your mains examination. You have to spend almost 1 year, 2 years with that one single subject. It is almost as if you are doing your bachelor's or honors in that subject. Now, if you are not interested in that subject, you will not be able to spend a lot of time with that subject, and you will not be able to understand the concepts in that subject, right? So please do not go by popularity. Just because the UPSC topper of that particular year has taken anthropology or has taken public administration, you do not pick up that particular optional. Please only choose optional on the basis of the factors which I have mentioned. Do not go by popularity of a particular subject in the market, right? Now, this popularity, it is a very dicey concept, because in UPSC market you have a lot of coaching institutes, and different coaching institutes offer different types of optionals, right? Some coaching institute may offer public administration, some coaching institute may offer sociology, or some other institute may offer PSIR, and they, in order to develop their own institute, they might promote one particular optional as the most popular option, right? Now, if you go by that popularity, and if you do not have interest, or if it is not your graduation subject, then in the middle of the preparation, you will realize that this is not an optional for you, right? So do not go by popularity of a particular subject. Second is, do not also go by the easy or the difficulty level of an optional. You keep hearing in the market that public administration is very easy, or that anthropology is very easy, right? You keep hearing from your senior aspirants that anthropology only takes 1 or 2 months to prepare. It is a very easy subject. You will be able to score 300 marks very easily, right? So do not go by these myths that some optional subject is very easy or some optional subject is difficult, right? Every optional subject requires similar amount of effort, no matter which optional subject you choose, whether it is a social science optional or a basic science optional, or whether it is some professional degree related optional like your engineering. Every optional subject requires similar amount of effort. It requires almost the same amount of time to cover the syllabus. It requires the same number of revisions. It requires same amount of answer writing practice. Okay, so no optional is easy and no optional is difficult. Do not go by these myths that some optional is easy and go for that optional, right? Because in UPSC preparation, every paper, every general studies paper and every optional subject requires similar amount of effort. So you cannot expect to bypass this effort and very easily get 300 marks, right? If that particular optional is very easy, then every aspirant and every topper would have taken the same optional, right? If anthropology is so easy, then every one of us must take anthropology, right? Then why do people take public administration? Why do people take political science, right? So no optional is easy, no optional is difficult, right? There is nothing that you cannot understand, and there is also no subject where it is very easy to understand and you can easily score 300 marks. Okay, so the two things that you must not consider is popularity and the easy or difficulty level. There is no way that you can bypass effort and hard work in UPSC preparation, right? Every subject requires effort, every subject requires hard work to understand the concepts, to present your answers in a logical and in a coherent manner, right? So these are the factors that you must not consider. Okay. Now, the next question that you would ask me is, when should I start my optional preparation, right? Before this, let me give you a process of choosing optional subjects. What is the process of choosing optionals? 5 factors. After evaluating all the optional subjects, go through UPSC notification, see all the optional subjects which UPSC is offering to candidates, right? And evaluate those optionals along these 5 factors and narrow down your choices to 2 or 3 optional subjects, right? Because I cannot advise you in choosing one optional or the other, right? It is an individual decision that you have to take after analyzing your own strengths and weaknesses, right? So narrow down your choices to 2 or 3. Then you go through the syllabus of these optionals. Go through the syllabus. Syllabus is available in the UPSC notification itself, right? There is a detailed syllabus available. Go through the syllabus and try to understand the syllabus. Try to understand the terms used in the syllabus. How do you do this? You can either Google, and if you are still unable to understand, there is a YouTube channel called the UGC-CEC. Right? In this YouTube channel, there are a lot of videos on each of these optionals. Social science optionals as well as basic science optionals. There are a lot of videos available. Now, those lectures are taken by many Central University professors, IGNOU professors, Delhi University professors. You can go through those videos to get yourself familiarized with that particular subject, right? UGC-CEC, there is a YouTube channel, or you can also attend our Sunday workshops. Every Sunday, we'll be conducting workshops on each of these social science optionals, like political science, public administration, anthropology, sociology. We'll be conducting workshops on these optionals to create awareness about that particular subject. What is the syllabus of that subject? What are the sources that you have to refer to? Okay. Now, after getting this understanding of these 2-3 subjects that you have narrowed down, then you decide where your interest lies, right? When you attend these workshops, when the faculty tells you what that particular optional is all about, you will be able to understand what is that optional, what are the pros and cons of that particular optional, how will it help you in your general studies papers. After getting this understanding, then you can decide which optional to choose for your civil services examination, right? If you are still pursuing your graduation, this is the right time for you to decide on your optional, right? Whether you want to go with your graduation subject or whether you want to shift gears and pick up an entirely new subject. It will give you time, a lot of time to get yourself familiarized with the subject also, right? If you are still pursuing your graduation, take time of 1 or 2 months or 3 months and carefully choose your optional subject after following this entire process. Okay, now this is the process that you have to follow for choosing your optional subject. Now, before going into when to start preparing for optionals, there is one small point that I would raise here. That is, do not have this misconception that polity is same as political science, economy is same as economics, right? Or polity is same as public administration. Do not have this misconception, right? Just because you understand M. Lakshmikant book does not mean that you will be able to do well in political science and international relations optional, right? Because each of these social science optionals, they have their own theoretical concepts that you have to understand if you are preparing for optional, right? It may not be necessary for your general studies, right? You do not have to prepare theoretical concepts in your general studies syllabus, but theoretical understanding is very, very important for your optional subjects, right? You will have to understand what are the propositions put forward by various thinkers. You will have to understand various sociological concepts or political science concepts, right? So polity is not same as public administration. Economy is not same as economics, right? Just because you understand basic economy, just because you understand what is inflation, what is repo rate, it does not mean that you will do well with economics optional, because economics, it has a lot of technical concepts that you have to understand. There are a lot of theories in economics also, microeconomic theories, macroeconomic theories, right? It requires in-depth understanding of these theories, right? So do not go by this misconception that because polity is very easy, you will pick up political science as your optional, or because economy is very easy for you, you will pick up economics as your optional. Try to go through the syllabus of those optional subjects, because your general studies syllabus is different from your optional syllabus, right? And it requires a lot more understanding. In your general studies, it is sufficient for you to have a very generic understanding of concepts, but it is not sufficient with your optional subjects, where you require in-depth understanding of theoretical concepts. Okay, now let us move forward and try to see when to start your optional preparation. Now, if you are someone who has finished your graduation and you have started your civil services examination preparation, then as I have told you in the previous workshops, that I generally divide civil services preparation into 4 phases. In phase 1, that is in the first 2-3 months of your preparation, try to go through basic books like your NCRTs. Then in the phase 2 of your preparation, which will last till 3 months before prelims examination, it is in this phase that you have to finish your optionals, right? Generally, there is a misconception among UPSC aspirants that since examination is conducted in this manner, that there is first prelims examination, then mains examination, and then personality test. Many aspirants think that they will first prepare for prelims, and after prelims examination they will prepare for mains examination. Now this is not the right way to go about, because between prelims and mains examination you have 100 days. Your prelims preparation will only help you in 3 papers. That is your general studies paper 1, paper 2 and paper 3. But your essay, ethics and your optionals are not covered in your prelims preparation. And if you think that you will finish that preparation in these 100 days, then you are living in another world, right? You will not have a lot of time to prepare in these 100 days. These 100 days are only meant for revising and practicing how to write answers, right? So in the phase 2 of your preparation itself, you must finish your optional syllabus, right? Once you finish your optional syllabus, 3 months before prelims examination, you can give exclusively for preparing for prelims. And after prelims examination, you can revise all your papers in mains, that is your ethics paper, all the 3 and 4 GS papers. You can revise your optional subject and you can immediately start your answer writing practice, right? So when to start your optional preparation? It is not after prelims examination. You must finish your optional syllabus well before your prelims examination. In fact, 3 months before your prelims examination, you must have finished the syllabus of all the 4 general studies papers as well as your optional paper. And the only thing which must be left for you to do after prelims is to revise and practice answer writing. Okay, so this is when you have to start your optional preparation. It is even better to finish your optional preparation in 6 months. After 2-3 months of familiarizing with the basic concepts like your NCERT books and some other basic sources, in phase 2, within 6 months, you try to finish your entire optional syllabus. Okay. Then the next question that we will deal with is how to prepare. How to prepare for your optional subjects. Now, before going into details, the first thing that I would like to mention here is optional subjects require enormous effort, right? Compared to your general studies papers, optional subjects require much more effort because you need to go in depth of the concepts in optional subjects, right? So the first thing here is that you cannot escape putting in hard work and effort for your optional subjects if you want to score 300 marks in your optional subject, right? Now, how to prepare? First is, as I have told you, familiarization with that particular subject and the concepts in that subject. This is the first step. This you will be able to do it if you go through the syllabus and go through various videos related to that syllabus. In UGC-CEC website, you have videos or lectures given by various professors on each of these social science as well as basic science subjects, right? So get yourself familiarized with that subject that you are choosing. Second step is content building, right? After you get yourself familiarized, then you start building content for each and every topic in UPSC syllabus for that optional, right? You have to develop content for each and every topic in UPSC syllabus, optional syllabus. Okay, so this is the second step. Now, how to do it? How to do this? You can either attend coaching classes, right? For example, if you are choosing an entirely different optional, since all the concepts are very new to you, you can attend any coaching institute, right? Or if you want to prepare on your own also, that is possible. You can refer to the basic sources, right? Delhi University honors subjects like sociology, anthropology, public administration, physics, chemistry, all these subjects. There is a basic reference book list which is available in Delhi University website. You can go through those basic reference books, or you can attend our workshops where we'll be giving you basic reference books. You can go through those books and build your content. Okay, so you have 2 options available. One is to attend a coaching institute's classes, or if you want to prepare on your own, you can refer to these basic books and try to build your content. Okay, so this is the second step. Now, when you are building content itself, please ensure that you're also making notes for all these topics, right? Because you have to refer to a lot of books, especially for optional subjects. It will become very difficult for you to revise all these concepts again if you do not have a concise notes available, right? So when you are building content itself, if you are attending coaching institute classes, try to have a running notes, or if your faculty is giving you some material, try to follow that material. And following just that material also is not enough, right? You need to have your own notes. So summarize all the content and the reference books which are available to you, and try to have your own notes for optional subjects, because it will help you in revising all the topics again before examination, and it will help you in giving your test series, right? So this is the second step, that is content building. The third step is the content enhancement. Content enhancement, right? After you understand all the concepts, after you finish your entire syllabus once, okay, it is then that you have to enhance your content. Now, this is very important, because if you are referring to any basic books, or if you are taking up coaching, for example, for political science, you have chosen PSIR as your optional subject, you have attended some coaching institute classes, or you have referred to some coaching institute material and some basic reference books for political science, and you have made your own notes, right? All the serious aspirants who have prepared well for their optional subject would then have similar notes, right? If they are attending same coaching institute, if they are referring to same books which the faculty recommends, then everyone will have same notes, right? Now, what makes your answer different and unique among all the other serious aspirants who are giving this examination? Now, this will happen, your answers will become unique and novel if you are able to enhance your content with case studies, with a lot of current developments, right? There are a lot of magazines also available, like Yojana Kurukshetra. If you are a public administration student, you can refer to these magazines and try to incorporate some nice case studies in Indian administration, right? You can refer to ARC reports where they have given very nice case studies with respect to Indian administration, and they've also given case studies with respect to other countries also. What are the best practices in other countries are also given in ARC reports, right? So this is how you have to enhance your content, that is by incorporating case studies as well as various current developments, Supreme Court judgments, recommendations of various committees and commissions. All this you have to incorporate in your notes through content enhancement, right? This is what will make your answer unique and novel when placed in 100 similar answers, right? If 100 serious aspirants are giving this examination with PSIR optional, if all of them write the same answer, then all of them will get average marks, right? So how will you score that extra 1 or 2 marks, which will put you in the top 100 ranks in the final list? This will happen if you write unique and novel answers. You do not have to create content, right? What did Karl Marx say? That content will be similar for all the aspirants. If you are prepared well enough, everybody will know what Karl Marx proposed, right? What will make your answer unique is if you are able to apply it to the current day happenings, not just in our country, but in other countries also, right? So this is how you have to enhance your content, right? For example, you have public administration thinkers, lot of public administration thinkers. Everybody knows what Taylor said, everybody knows what Weber said, right? But what will make your answer unique is the way you apply it to Indian administration, or the way you apply it to other business organizations, right? This is how you write unique answers, which will help you fetch that 1 more mark or 2 more marks in your optional subject. Only then you will be able to cross 300 marks in your optional subject, right? Then the fourth step is answer writing. Okay, this is the fourth step and one of the most important steps in your optional preparation. No matter how much knowledge you have, no matter how much content you have, if you are unable to put up or write an answer in a logical and a coherent manner, you will not be able to score high marks, right? So answer writing skill is very, very important for your optionals, especially social science optionals. right? If you are picking up physics or chemistry, you do not require a lot of answer writing practice, right? You just have to develop your speed. But with respect to social science optionals, the way you present your answer is also very important, right? I keep correcting answers of a lot of candidates, right? They keep writing answers and showing it to me. The main problem that they face is that they write like how they write in their graduation, right? The answers which they write or the way they present is like their graduation. In your graduation, what you generally do is you dump your entire knowledge on the paper without any coherent or logical flow to the answer, right? You just write whatever you know. You do not address the question, you do not try to understand the question, and you do not try to logically address the question in a coherent manner, right? Now, this is a skill which is very important to have for social science optionals. Now, you will develop this particular skill only over a period of time after understanding the concepts. Even after understanding the concepts, presenting it in a coherent manner requires a lot of practice. Okay. Now, having this practice is very important. First, it is important to write in a coherent manner, which will happen only with a lot of practice. Second, you will not have a lot of time in mains examination to write your answers, right? You will not have a lot of time. For example, in your mains examination, you generally have questions for 10 marks or for 15 marks or for 20 marks, right? If you take up a 20 marks question, the amount of time that you have is 13 or 14 minutes, right? Within this 13 or 14 minutes, you should be able to understand the question and write at least 250 words in that particular answer in a logical manner, right? Now, this will happen only with a lot of practice. It is not easy to finish UPSC mains papers. If you do not have practice, it is not easy to finish papers on the day of the examination. This requires a lot of effort for a consistent period, for a period of at least 6 months or 4 months. If you are writing answers every single day and if you are getting them evaluated and making necessary modifications and improvements to your presentation, only then on the day of the examination, you will be able to write logical answers within the given time. Okay. Now, answer writing again is very, very important for your optional preparation. Now, immediately as soon as you pick up your optional subject, do not start writing, because you will not have understanding of concepts. You will not be able to write optional answers immediately after starting your preparation, right? What you can do is, once you finish your optional syllabus once and you have revised it once, then you start writing answers. Whether it is in the phase 2 of your preparation or you have time available after your prelims examination also, that is, you have 100 days. In those 100 days, what you can do is you can revise and you can take up any test series or write answers to previous year questions. Okay, so this is how you have to prepare for your optional subject. First step is to get yourself familiarized with the subject. Second, you have to build your content by attending any coaching institute classes, or if you want to prepare on your own, you can refer to basic books which is available on various websites for each optional subject, right? So the level at which questions are asked in your optional subject is honors. BA honors level questions are asked in your optional subject, right? Whereas in your general studies papers, that is your paper 1, 2, 3 and 4, you are asked questions at 12th standard level, which is why you study NCRTs for your general studies, but you do not study NCRTs for your optionals, right? NCRTs are not sufficient for your optional subject, right? Because the questions are asked at BA honors level, okay? Which is why you have to refer to proper textbooks, okay? So once you build your content, try to have your own notes for your optional subject. Then you can start with content enhancement. After each topic, please leave 3 or 4 papers in your optional notes. Once you finish your entire syllabus, as you keep following your current affairs, please update your notes with some unique points that you can mention in mains examination when a question is asked on that particular topic. Then the fourth point or the fourth step is answer writing practice. Once you have finished your entire syllabus once and you have revised it, then you can start writing your answers for previous year questions, or you can pick up any test series and start writing answers, right? What is the priority? The priority is to write answers for previous year questions, right? Do not immediately start buying test series and writing answers. What you have to do and what is the priority that you have to give is to first write answers to previous year questions. That will help you in understanding the scope of your syllabus, right? By writing previous year question answers, you will be able to understand the scope of the syllabus and the type of questions which are asked in mains examination. Okay, so the priority should be given to previous year questions, and if you have finished writing answers to all the previous year questions of past 15 years or 20 years, then you can pick up any test series and start your answer writing practice. Okay, so this is how you have to prepare for your optional subject. Now, to summarize this entire session, what it boils down to is, based on your background, if a candidate is from or is pursuing or has pursued his or her graduation in any of the basic science subjects like physics, chemistry, mathematics, or psychology, or if you have pursued your graduation in engineering or medical science, if you are very confident with your graduation subject, then yes, please go ahead and choose your graduation subject as your optional. If you're very confident with that subject, you'll be able to finish your entire syllabus in 1 month or 2 months, and you can give a lot of time for your general studies preparation. This is the first step. First step is evaluating how confident are you with your graduation subject. If you're very confident, yes, please take your graduation subject as your optional. Then the second step is, if you are not confident with your graduation subject, if you have pursued your masters in physics and you're not confident with physics, if you have pursued your graduation in engineering or medical science and you're not confident with that particular subject, then you can choose any one of these social science optionals. Now, this is the same formula for literature also. Literature subjects also do not have a lot of overlap with your general studies syllabus, right? So only pick up literature subjects if you have done graduation in those particular subjects. Otherwise, if you are very interested in literature also, then yes, you can take literature subjects as your optional, right? So this is the first step. Second step is, if you are not confident with your graduation subject, then you can choose when any one of these social science optionals. Any one of these social science optionals. There is a lot of overlap with general studies syllabus. There is good guidance also available. Try to evaluate in which of these social science subjects you are very interested in or you have aptitude in. After evaluating, try to narrow down your choices to 2 or 3 and go through the syllabus. Follow the process which I have just mentioned for picking up an optional subject. And after you pick up an optional subject, you can start your preparation in the way that I have described. Okay, so this is just to summarize the entire session. Now, I would like to open this session for questions. Please ask me any questions that you have, any concerns that you have with respect to optional subject or with respect to UPSC preparation. The floor is open for questions. First is with respect to public administration optional. The candidate has mentioned some books and would like me to advise on which books to choose among these reference books. Okay, for public administration optional or for any optional, one important thing to keep in mind is that there is no one single book where you have your entire syllabus, right? If you pick up Prasad and Prasad, Administrative Thinkers book, it covers only a limited syllabus of public administration optional, right? If you pick up what are the other books that are mentioned here. Okay. The books mentioned here are Ignu, Sapru, Mary, Sahitya, and Lakshmikant. Okay. See, what I would like to advise here is for public administration, what you can do is try to go through each and every chapter and try to look for reference material for that particular chapter, right? Go chapter by chapter. For example, you have your administrative thought, chapter 2 in paper 1. Chapter 2 in paper 1, your administrative thought. Now you can refer to books such as Mohit Bhattacharya and Administrative Thinkers by Prasad and Prasad, right? Then if you go to chapter 1, that is your introduction, meaning, scope of public administration, you can refer to IGNOU material where there is a lot of material for bachelor's, that is BA and MA public administration. Now IGNOU has good material on this first chapter. So what you have to do is go topic by topic. If you go through optional paper 2 in public administration, then you can refer to either ARC2 reports or RK Arora and Rajni Goyal. So what you have to do for public administration or for any optional for that matter is go chapter by chapter and try to find reference books for that particular chapter, right? We have already conducted a workshop on public administration and what are the reference books for public administration. We will again be conducting a workshop for public administration. In that workshop, we will describe in detail what are the reference books that you need to refer to for each and every chapter in your public administration optional. But IGNOU material has lot of good content for each and every chapter in your public administration syllabus, right? So keep IGNOU as the basic reference material, and on top of IGNOU, you can refer to books like Administrative Thinkers by Prasad and Prasad. You can refer to Mohit Bhattacharya's books, or you can also refer to Brian R. Fry, Mastering Public Administration, right? So on top of IGNOU material, you can refer to all these books for making your content very novel. Again, a question on reference books for Indian economy, Nitin Singhania or Ramesh Singh. As I have just mentioned, one book or two books is not enough. What you have to understand is once you go through a particular topic from one particular reference book, what you can do is you go through previous year questions from that topic, which are asked from that topic, and you see if there are some dimensions which are not covered in that basic reference book, right? For example, if you pick up Nitin Singhania or Ramesh Singh, you can go through one particular topic from that book, right? After you cover that topic, go through previous year questions and see if there is some dimension which was not covered in Ramesh Singh, or if there is some dimension which was not covered in Nitin Singhania, then you can go for additional reference books, right? So this is the process that you have to follow for all optionals, right? If, for example, for sociology, there is a book called Harnam Bose, right, which many sociology aspirants refer to. Now, that book has a lot of content. You can go through topic by topic in that book. You can read a particular topic or a thinker. For example, you can read Weber from that book. And if there is some dimension which was not covered in that book, you can go for additional reference material. Now, for many of these optional subjects, you might find it a bit difficult to buy all these textbooks, especially of foreign authors. They are a bit pricey, right? Now, if you are unable to, or if you cannot afford to buy these books, you can refer to certain online websites which has extracts from these books. You can go through those websites and you can try to read from those websites if you are unable to purchase these books, especially by foreign authors, right? Or you can go to any of these libraries. You can purchase your library card and you can go through books in those libraries. If you are still pursuing your graduation, please make use of the library which your institute is providing you, because after you finish your graduation, it is very difficult to find a good library where you have a lot of reference material for these academic subjects. Okay, so if you're still pursuing your graduation, please make use of the library facilities in your institute. Go through all the reference books for your optionals and try to make your notes or understand the concepts from those reference books. Kiran Mai, yes, we will be conducting workshops for each and every optional which I have mentioned, especially social science optionals. We'll be conducting workshops on public administration, political science, sociology, as well as anthropology. Now, these workshops will happen throughout the year till another academic session begins. Till May, we'll be conducting workshops on all these optionals every Sunday. And you will be receiving a mail and a message from us. You can log in whenever you find a subject in which you are interested in. Yes, literature subjects. You have a lot of literature subjects like English literature, Telugu literature, Kannada literature. Now, many aspirants feel that literature subjects have very short syllabus. There is not a lot of competition in literature subjects, which is why they tend to choose literature as their optional. But what you have to remember before taking literature subjects is that it is not easy. Literature subjects are not easy. There is a common perception that literature subjects are easy. No, they are not very easy, the literature subjects are not very easy when compared to other social science optionals also. Even if you take Telugu literature, you might think that, yes, I'm speaking very well in Telugu, I can write in Telugu, so I can understand all the Telugu literature, right? But this is not the case. Okay, so before jumping in and taking literature subject as your optional, try to go through the syllabus, go through online videos on that particular subject, and then you decide whether you have aptitude, whether you have skills to pursue literature or not, right? Literature subjects are not easy. There is a very huge misconception among candidates that it is very easy and there is no competition, right? You will have competition for each and every subject, no matter which subject you choose, whether it is a social science subject or basic science subject or literature subject, you will have competition. And there is no optional, as I have said, which is very easy or very difficult. Right? Again, as I have told you, there is a Upsc-Cse YouTube channel. You can go through literature videos from that particular YouTube channel. You'll be able to understand whether you're following that particular subject or not, whether you are able to understand those concepts or not, right? Or if you have some faculty in your institute who teaches Telugu literature or English literature, try to seek advice from that particular faculty to self-analyze whether you have aptitude in that subject or not, right? So seek guidance before taking up any optional subject. Seek guidance. Literature subjects, the positive thing is they have a limited syllabus, but the negative or the cons of literature optionals is there is no one standard reference book for entire Telugu literature. There is no one standard reference book for entire English literature, right? And it is also very difficult to get coaching or guidance support for literature subjects, right? Since very few students or aspirants tend to take these literature subjects, you do not find a lot of coaching support available for these literature subjects, and you will not also find a lot of test series being offered for these literature subjects, right? For literature, you need a lot of answer writing skill, right? Answer writing skill is very, very important for literature subjects. Now, if you do not have test series available in your area for your literature subject, then your UPSC preparation for your optional will become a little bit difficult. Okay, so consider these factors. Try to seek advice from faculty who teaches that particular subject. Go through the syllabus, go through YouTube videos, try to see if you have aptitude in that subject. Also see whether you have coaching support available for your particular literature optional, and whether you have test series available for that optional. Also go through previous year questions from that literature subject. Okay, so the process is the same for every optional. Whether you take social science optional or literature optional, the process is the same. The cons for literature optional is not a lot of guidance is available, and there is no overlap with your general studies syllabus. You have to completely separate your optional preparation from your general studies preparation. But the positive thing about literature subjects is it is very, very interesting to go through these literature subjects, and the syllabus is also not very, very vast. Okay. The workshop for public administration will be held very soon. You will receive a message as to when we'll be conducting a workshop for public administration. It is generally workshops are conducted here on every Sunday. Okay, so you will be receiving a message and a mail from us. You can log in whenever public administration session is scheduled. Nishant, yes, you can walk in anytime. You can attend the demo classes. There are batches which are currently running. Yes, you can come down to the institute. You can talk to us. You can take the help from us. There is also personal mentorship which is available at Excel Civils Academy. We personally mentor candidates for UPSC examination for a very nominal fee, right? You can take help from us as to how to go about your preparation. We'll try to evaluate your answers and give you feedback as to what are the improvements that you can make. If you have some confusion on some particular topic, you can avail our facilities. You can talk to our faculty here. You can come down to the institute and you can interact with us. You can attend the demo classes here also. You have finished your graduation and you want to start your civil services examination preparation. How to start your preparation? I have described it very briefly here in this session. In the previous session also it was discussed. What you can do is divide your preparation into 4 phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. In phase 1, try to develop understanding about 4 important subjects in UPSC examination, that is your history, geography, polity, as well as economy. Go through NCRTs of these 4 subjects in the first 2-3 months of your preparation. Then you will get a basic idea about these subjects, and in the phase 2 of your preparation, you can start your preparation by referring to all the basic books. Go topic by topic. If you pick up history, there is reference material for history. For example, ancient India, Arish Sharma; medieval India, Satish Chandra; modern India, Bipin Chandra. Go through these old NCRTs. Try to have your notes for some specific subjects. Right now, this was described in detail in the previous session. In phase 1, try to develop basic understanding. Phase 2, finish your entire syllabus for your general studies papers as well as your optional subject. And in the phase 3, that is 3 months before prelims examination, focus exclusively on prelims. And in phase 4, that is after your prelims examination, prepare for your mains examination, that is revising and answer writing practice. Now, what is the reference book for each of these subjects was described in detail in the previous session. We'll be sending a link to you of that particular workshop. Or you can also come down to the institute and you can avail the facilities here. You can talk to me. I will guide you as to how to start your preparation or how to plan your preparation. Okay, you can always walk down to the institute or you can call us. We'll be personally mentoring all the students. Now, how to make notes for PSIR? Not just for PSIR, for any optional subject. The first thing is, it is important to have notes so that you can revise before examination, right? Second, how to make notes. First is topic by topic notes. You need to have notes topic by topic, right? In political science, for example, you're studying Western political thought and you're studying about Karl Marx or you're studying about Weber, and you have to first have notes on that particular thinker. What were the propositions that he put forward? After you have your basic notes for each and every thinker, then you can go to Indian political thought. How to make notes in the sense, first you need to have basic notes on that particular topic, leave a few pages and you start your another topic. And in those few pages that you have left, you do your content enhancement after your entire syllabus is over by incorporating case studies and current affairs. No matter what books you have, no matter what coaching material that you need to have your own notes for your optional subject. For example, if you are attending coaching somewhere for political science and that particular institute has given some coaching material for that particular subject, right? And you also have your other reference books such as textbooks, right? You have all this reference material. What you can do is summarize the entire material and try to have your own very concise notes for each and every optional. Students, do you have any more questions? If you have any more questions, please go ahead and ask me. Now, the time generally it takes for covering any optional syllabus, if you're preparing consistently, generally optional syllabus subjects take at least 4 to 6 months to finish your first round of preparation. It generally takes 4 to 6 months, whether it is political science or public administration or anthropology. It generally takes 4 to 6 months to finish your optional subject. Please ask if you have any more questions. If you look at marks of toppers, that is those who got top 100 ranks in the last 5 years, the pattern that you notice is they must have scored very high marks in their essay paper, in their ethics paper, as well as in optional papers, right? Now, these are 3 papers which will put you in the top 100 ranks. Okay, so do not neglect these papers. I see many aspirants who do not prepare for essay, right? I see aspirants who neglect ethics, or I also see aspirants who give enormous time for optionals or general studies papers and neglect the other part, right? So manage your time well, allocate your time well. Then you should at least allocate 40% of your time for your optional subjects and 60% of your time for your general studies papers. And it has to be allocated equally among all the general studies papers, whether it is essay or GS paper 1 or your ethics paper. Okay. Now, please keep in mind that your essay, ethics and optionals, this is what will decide whether you get, whether you find your name in the top 100 ranks of the final list or not. Okay. Now, these 3 papers are very, very important. Now, many toppers, they must have scored at least 280. Or anywhere between 280 to 300 or 330 marks in their optional subjects, right? You also see mathematics optional candidates scoring 340 marks or 330 marks in their optional subject, right? So you have to compete with that. What you have to aim for in your optional subjects is to score 300 plus marks, right? In your essay paper, you have to aim for 150 marks. In your ethics paper, you have to aim for 110 to 120 marks. Or if you get more than that, that is well and good. But this is what you have to aim for. You need to score very high marks in your essay, ethics, as well as optionals, right? Your optionals and your essay paper are highly scoring. You will not find any other general studies paper where a candidate has scored 140 marks or 150 marks, right? You will not find a person who scored 140 marks in GS paper 2, or you will not find a person who has scored 150 marks in GS paper 3. But it is possible in your essay paper, and it is also possible in your optional papers, right? Which is why they are very important in deciding your rank. Most toppers, they get around the same marks in GS paper 1, 2 and 3. What makes the difference is their essay paper, ethics paper and their optional papers, right? So please focus on your optional subjects. If you do not have any other questions, we'll try to wind up the session. What I want to convey here is if you need some personal mentorship or guidance from us, you can walk down to the institute, you can attend the sessions here, demo classes, or you can personally interact with me or the faculty who are available here, and they will be personally mentoring you as to how to plan your preparation, what to study, what are the reference books that you need to refer to, and will also help you in improving your answer presentation. Okay, so personal mentorship facilities are available here at Excel Civils Academy. You can walk down or you can call us up. You can send your answers through any of these WhatsApp or other websites, or you can mail us. Okay, so these facilities are available here at Excel Academy, and every Sunday we'll also be conducting workshops on UPSC Civil Services examination preparation, whether it is for individual papers like paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4, or for individual optional subjects like public administration, political science, sociology and anthropology. Okay, you will be receiving a message and a mail from us. Whenever you find a subject that you're interested in, you can log in and attend the session. Okay, there are no more questions. Okay, so we'll be winding up the session now. Thank you for attending today's session. So when you go back, after attending the session, when you go back, try to go through the UPSC notification, look at all the optionals which are being offered to you, and you analyze all these optional subjects along the factors which I have just mentioned. Try to narrow down your choices and very, very carefully choose your optional subject. Do not choose your optional because some of your friends have taken that optional, or some topper has taken that optional, or that it is very popular. Be very careful in exercising your choice with respect to optional subjects. This is one advice that I want to give you today. I've also already described the factors that you need to consider. Okay, thank you for attending today's session.